This is the NTV People's Parliament. My name is Romeo Busiku. This is a very pertinent conversation. We are discussing constitutional and electoral reforms. My dear country, Uganda has had 7 general elections, but my people can only single out the 1996 election as the only fair election within this country. The rest of the elections, my people say, had issues. That's why we are here. Issues to do with electoral reforms, constitutional reforms. Can we remove money from the political landscape of Uganda? In just the 2021 election, we spent 3.9 trillion Uganda shillings. That is a lot of money on campaigns. And in 2016, we spent around 2.4 trillion Uganda shillings. That is still a lot of money. In the last election, 2021, President Museveni spent 201.2 billion shillings. Kyagulanyi spent less than 4 billion. Amuri had spent only 1 billion. So indeed, young people who do not have money cannot engage in this political landscape. You need 5 million Uganda shillings to be nominated for an MP position. You need 3 million Uganda shillings to go for a special interest group position. PWDs do not have that money. So how can we remove money from our political landscape to allow even those who are poor but may have the knowledge to run this country? But we are here today in Busoga to find out what are the issues here. What kind of recommendations do you want to see put into place? Do you have enough civic education? Do you ever see the Electoral Commission come to you to talk to you about civic education and what you need to be doing? That's why we are here. All right, I'm going to kick off with my very first speaker, and that is going to be the RCC, Richard Gulume, and we shall also get a member from Fabio to give us a situational analysis of the work they've undertaken on the ground as far as the strengthening of citizens' engagement in elections is concerned. All right, let's get a Fabio representative. Situational analysis. Where are we coming from? What did you find out on the ground? Give us a status quo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker of the People's Parliament, your team, the clerk and sergeant at arms. Good evening to you all. My name is Joy Kawanguzi, and I am the Executive Director of the First African Bicycle Information Organization, an NGO that is the implementing partner of the SIN project in Busoga Region. And this project, we implemented together with the Uganda National NGO Forum. But for the interest of time, Fabio as an organization, we use a bicycle as a tool of social transformation. Now today we are here under our governance program and under a project called Strengthening Citizens' Engagement in the Electoral Processes. Now this project started way back, many years back. After elections of 2021, a number of issues emerged from the various observers' reports, including the European Union, including the Electoral Commission itself, who are key players in this question of elections. Issues to do with low voter turnout, issues to do with the election malpractices, among others. Those are a few I will cite. And some of these issues were leading to apathy. And for us to address this, we came up with this project called SIN. SIN is basically designed to address particularly apathy, because we cannot address all the challenges highlighted from the observers' reports. So specifically apathy, the question of apathy, that most of our citizens or local citizenry had given up on participating in the elections or electoral processes. So as organizations, Fabio and NGO Forum, who are at the forefront of ensuring that each and every Ugandan takes part in our democracy activities, we designed this particular project. A number of activities have been going on where our different key stakeholders have taken part. We have had the grassroots engagements where we have engaged the local person. In Jinja, Iganga, and Kamuli, we've had opportunities to interact with the local person, with the Nainchi, on issues of electoral reforms, on issues of constitutional reforms, among others. And a number of issues have emerged. A number of recommendations have been put across. A number of suggestions have been brought on board. I am happy that from that level, from the grassroots consultations, we are able to move to the district level. And Right Honorable, I am happy to report to you that the key stakeholders in this House took part in these consultation meetings, both at the district and the regional level. The RCC, who then was the RDC, took part in our consultations. I'm also happy to mention that the Electoral Commission has also been pivotal. The Office of the DPC, the Uganda Human Rights Commission, the Speaker of Jinja District, Jinja City, the councillors, all of them have given their opinions, their suggestions, their recommendations, have added their voice unto the local person's voice in as far as the recommendations are concerned. Thank you very much. I beg to submit.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Executive Director for the First African Bicycle. We do have a representative of the Uganda National NGO Forum. He's also going to bring us up to speed with some of those modalities and information. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Indeed. 10 years of pushing for electoral reforms.
Yes, it's been a relentless effort, Right Honorable Speaker.
Indeed.
As the sector, civil society, we are relentless on the issue of improving the way elections happen in this country. The reason is simple. If things go wrong, there is a lot at stake. Isn't that not the case?
Indeed.
Who of you likes chaos?
No.
Who likes anarchy? Who likes war? Who enjoys when people fight? Do you like it if your son, your brother, your mother, your father, your mother-in-law is injured during a fight that has come as a result of elections?
No.
People who reside here in Jinja, haven't you seen people fight in these very structures we are in here? Picture the mood in this hall if it was a tallying center the way it was in February 2021. Mr. RDC, if you recall, RCC. Do you remember the mood that was here, for instance, if I was to cite names, between Honorable Adiomu and the person that they were running against? Does anyone remember anything that happened? Yes. You remember? Yes. And there were several instances like this, not just here in Jinja, but across the country. And what are we saying? We are saying that there should be a way we can have our elections run better. Because this is a process, because of the constitution that we have as a democratic country, that we subject ourselves to every 5 years. And each time we go to the polls, when we went in 2021, before that when we went in 2016, before that when we went in 2001, each time we go through the processes, there are issues that emerge. There are realities that come up. In 2016, no one imagined that we could have online campaigns because the world had not seen COVID then. Did any one of you imagine the world would be subjected to wear masks?
No.
In 2016, but things happened. COVID came, and we couldn't have a big rally. And so we're saying, well, okay, if the election are taking that direction, how about we have a leveled media freedom, so that every party, if Council Mjoma here is running, I'm still running for LC5. If he wants to become LC5, He should be able to go to NBS, Baba TV, Victoria FM, Sebo FM, and just debate. And this is where, as NGO Forum, we come in. We are saying that we want to facilitate conversations like this, and we want to thank very much indeed the Nation Media Group, NTV, for bringing the People's Parliament to us to provide an opportunity for people to talk to each other. When you talk, okuwaya kusinga okurwana. Just to conclude, right, Honorable Speaker, is to say that we want to implore and encourage people to speak up in this People's Parliament and utilize the space to provide ideas on what you think can be done. Tell us of how you saw the election in Chikaramoja, or in Bugembe, or in Walukuba, or in Buenge, wherever you reside. Tell us, and the Right Honorable Speaker here will guide us accordingly.
Indeed.
I want to thank you so much.
And thank you so much,
All
sir,
right.
for that submission. If the system or process is flawed, there is hell to pay. If we do not do anything, that's why I would implore the RCC, Richard Gulumbe.
Sometimes you need to look in the face of the speaker
Indeed.
when you're addressing the House. Right Honorable Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir, all dignitaries in this House, who include officials from Electoral Commission, officials from security, our leaders in political arena, members of this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a constitution in place. The 1995 Constitution has a lot of provisions to guide this country, and specifically issues concerning how leaders are identified in this country. And I want to express my appreciation that the process is growing day by day. And when you talk about reforms, we are talking about improvement, I think. We've been having many changes in our election process. We have been having many new inputs and new arrangements in our election process. We used to have those manual registers which we are formulating at the place where we are going to have election. People come and register that very day when they have gathered themselves to have an election, and they form a register. Now we have moved to digital registers. You can even download a register and you know which area you belong to and so on. These have been reforms. We used to have a situation where those who are going to manage the elections were being appointed from Kampala. But now we are coming to a situation where we advertise and say whoever wants to participate in an election process as an officer, you apply. As I talk now, people are applying to become electoral officials. I think that also creates a lot of transparency in the whole system. We used to have where elections, when you have an election, results could be announced at the sub-county. But right now, you get real results at the polling station. And according to the existing laws, even the results are pinned at that area where you had the elections from. So if you have even any query, you can raise it from that very point. And as I talk now, when you look at the media, because the unfortunate part of it, that Uganda has become a politicking country from the day of election to another election.
Indeed.
You find that every day, we are in the radio, including TV, you tune in. There are always political talk shows, political discussions, including NTV. I see many people from opposition coming to discuss on NTV. They are given space to discuss on NTV, and even those in the leadership.
I think that's also another area we must appreciate.
Indeed.
That there haven't been any squeeze that on NTV, if you are from opposition, not come and discuss. If you are from government, not come and discuss.
What about UBC?
Let's
use government
even
media
UBC, I've been seeing there's a popular program I normally watch on Wednesday. I've been seeing many of people from opposition discussing. So we realize that gradually things are improving. But that does not stop anybody from raising anything which can be captured if it needs attention of the parliament, attention of government. Because as I talk, I'm aware that even the Minister of Constitutional Affairs is tabling amendments and reforms to parliament.
Indeed.
So this is another opportunity. If nothing is captured along the way, we should also come up and bring it to the attention.
And finally,
on issues of security, you talk about, Mr. Speaker, you talk about
the violence in Luka.
That sometimes you see even the army participating. You know, in security, some security issues are a little bit complicated for some of us, the ordinary people. You may think security is exclusive for either the army or the police. But even us as Wananchi, we contribute a lot to the security of the country, especially in the area when we have elections. The way we behave as a community warrants those in security to plan. For instance, somebody talked about when they had primaries here, how people behaved here. What did you expect security to do? To keep away and watch? I said, those people are doing their things, let's keep away. Sometimes you need to bring in the police, and sometimes the police will say, the army, please come and help us here. Whenever you see the army, when there is such operations in security, it means it is the police which has requisitioned for that support from the army. I've seen many NRM people being arrested if they do the wrong thing.
Really?
But if they don't do the wrong thing, there's no way they'll be arrested. Now, sometimes you find that security, when they are planning their security, it is circumstantial. When we have a situation and we have few people in security around us, that becomes very, very dangerous.
Thank you so much.
I want the Ugandans to appreciate that when we come to issues of elections, let's see how we can also help our people, especially those participating in elections, to guide our people in the way they should behave. Thank you very much.
You're still watching NTV People's Parliament, the conversation largely focusing on constitutional and electoral reforms. A break is in the offing, but we return shortly with more of these deliberations. We are in the Busoga Region having a pertinent discussion on constitutional and electoral reforms. Well, of course, before we took a break, we did have the RCC of this particular jurisdiction saying that some individuals or members of the public incite security forces, and that's why there's a lot of violence. Do you believe this is true? We'd like to find out from the audience. They're going to give us their feedback, whether this is true or not by show of hand. I'm going to be choosing. Kindly raise your hands, and I'm going to be choosing. Okay, there's a gentleman there. Come talk to us. Is it true that our people incite security and in return you're beaten up, you're thrown in jail?
Thank you very much. My name's Chirunze Orison. The answer may be no, may not be yes. Because if you look at the insecurity or the security in the country, it's maybe people, the politicians or the citizens may be instigated to run the other way around. For instance, I can cite a situation that in the previous election that we had, Bobby Wine was crossing the bridge and was heading to Luoka. was stopped on between the Amber Court Market and then the bridge. No sooner had he was stopped than we heard the bricks around. I wonder the nature of instigation was done to the security.
I hear you. That's a good point.
That is around security. I'm looking onto the side of money in the country. The president himself said by 2026, we shall have no poor people participating in the politics. What does it bring? The president gets less money, but has a lot of privileges in the government. And if you look at the economy in the country, you find that one office, maybe a political office, may be owning a lot of money. For instance, I take an example of my dear RCC. He had 3 officials in the office, but none of them earns less than 800,000 per month. But if you compare the civil servant or the other people, what they are earning vis-a-vis the politics, the reason of money in the politics has changed politics to be a source of income to the people. That's why people are selling out their land, selling out their houses because they want to participate in politics. Look at the amount of money needed to be registered as on a basis of a councillor, a basis of a member of parliament, a basis of a president. It means the poor will not be registered. So therefore, like if I say they don't instigate, I'll be wrong. If I say they instigate, I'll be wrong. So it balances depending on the situation.
On the situation like the Lucas situation,
Exactly.
security instigated that situation.
Yes.
Thank you so much. The lady and the cleric.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. RSS is out.
Is coming back.
Okay, he talked about violence. We realize that this violence is organized violence. Who causes the violence and how does it come in? The candidates themselves organize the goons. When they organize the goons, if one party organizes its goons, the other party also has to organize its own goons. So how can we deal with this? Can we have a law in place that can try to maybe deal with the discipline of these candidates? Can we maybe propose that we have a law that says anyone who's found to be violent as a candidate should be suspended from elections for a period of time? I think that's when we shall have sanity. About campaign financing, he noted that it's us, the voters, who start the game. If we came up a law that says, don't give any money. If you're found giving money, you'll be suspended. I think that would create sanity amongst us, even the voters. I wonder whether if that law came, we wouldn't vote anyone because we're asking for money. What does it cost me giving me 2,000 shillings, or even if it was 100,000? But when you're going to serve me for 5 years, am I going to keep on using the 10,000 all through? What is in money that is more than electing leaders who are sane, leaders who can deliver, leaders who are not corrupt? That is my take. The other is about budgets. One time I remember, I think the previous electoral cycle, I had an opportunity of participating in the scene activities of Fabio. We had proposed, I don't know whether this wasn't pushed further, can we have candidates, intending candidates, laying their budgets and presenting them to the Electoral Commission, clearly stating the sources where they will be getting this money from? Because we realize we miss out sometimes on having good leaders, all in the name of money. Thank you.
The cleric, and then we get a representative from police. And the lady there, we could just break it down to 3 minutes. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, and the audience. My concerns are very small, but are very vivid.
Indeed.
First of all, I'll first comment on the RC's concern about the insight of the public to the police. On my side, I believe that is right. In most cases, you find that the public do incite. Maybe, I believe there is a difference between inciting and prompting. Just of recent, if you're on the social media, you can believe or you can bear witness with me that of recent there was a lady who incited and at the same time went ahead to insult a police officer. I do not expect a police officer not to respond, but actually I want to appreciate even the police force that we have in Uganda now. It is more of profession than the police we had of previous. Another thing or another concern that I may raise, when we had just started our debate, Right Honorable Speaker,
yes,
there is somewhere you were prompting our mind to be driven somewhere, where you were saying that you find that the judge is being appointed by somebody.
Who is a candidate?
Who is a candidate. The Electoral Commission is being appointed by somebody. But when you look at the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, chapter 8, verse 146, you may realize that person in quotes, or that office in quotes, just appoints, but the approval lies in the hands of the Parliament. And a case in point, the Parliament may disapprove the appointment of that somebody in office. You remember very well the case in point.
But that somebody has a majority in that Parliament. So
and there's a reason as to why he has a majority in that Parliament. Because the majority doesn't come out of blue, but it's out of the appreciation from the public. That's why they vote those people and they become in the majority in Parliament.
Thank you so much, sir, for that humble submission. Well, of course, much as a few bad apples may incite, sometimes the reaction from the security forces is heavy-handed. Say the 2020 protests, Luka and everything, the violence that emanated, 54 people died. 54 people died. Much as there were some people who instigated that, CID came out with a report and said there were only 9 rioters. 9. Out of the 54 people who died, there were only 9 real rioters who instigated the violence against security. So innocent people always get caught up in this mess. And we need to do something because I'm noticing it's a blame game. This one says, it's me, it's you. But then the citizens need to be protected. The innocent ones who know nothing. It's the grass that suffers when the elephants are fighting. NTV People's Parliament, we are discussing electoral and constitutional reforms. We have a senior citizen there and a lady.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and the audience, protocol observed.
Indeed.
Kadam Agnes, my name. I'm the chairperson for Finance Administration, Jinja City. I'm a woman council representing Jinja West constituency. Glad to meet you all. I'm a woman who has been in politics since 2006 on opposition. But what we go through as opposition is so stressing. People give you their votes, but when it comes to talent center, police and electoral commission, they get orders from above. Don't let that lady go through opposition. It is a real struggle. Protecting the votes is a real struggle. Somebody even can die. We are women. You stand at the talent center for 5 days without even bathing. Even you start smiling. But you don't leave, you are just eye open like this because of your votes. Security, please, let them respect the rest of the people. If the people have entrusted the people they want with their votes, not doesn't mean that being a ruling party, but you're supposed to be a leader. These people lose a lot of money. They have money, plus they don't have money. They take that advantage of the money they have, and they intimidate us. As if we don't reserve our rights, but we shall just bewitch them. Because for us, we don't have the guns. Somebody plays around somebody's votes. We have no other alternative. We have no, even I told them, I will just bewitch you. Have nothing to do. That's a humble prayer. And we need our voice to be protected and our rights. Police and electoral commission, let us, police protect us like we protect those people in movement. When they have given somebody these votes, it deserves his right or our right.
Thank you so much.
For coming.
Thank you too. Just 2 minutes because we are running out of time. We also have the speaker over there. So please, just take 2 minutes.
Okay, please.
purposes of gender balance, yes.
I'm Nakato Irene Wakabia, City Councillor at Jinja City.
Okay, Nakato.
My worry is one, we are in political parties. But whenever it comes to opposition, the security officers, they only know one party, NRM. What I beg the security officers and this so-called NRM party is one, let them balance the ground for opposition members. We should also be balanced when we are coming to do what? To the voters. Two, whenever we go to the radios and we want to mobilize for our political parties, they don't allow us. And we ask why should they not allow us to mobilize for our political parties? Officers, please, also we are Ugandans like you people. And we live in Uganda here. And you are the same people who say that we should go to political parties. I'm a National Unity Platform candidate, I'm a NUPU candidate, and I stand on my words. Please respect us as Ugandans. Thank you very much.
All right, that was short and direct. I loved it. We have a representative of the police. Kindly, you wanted to make a submission to supplement on security. You can also make an addition on what they've been talking about. Security, harassing opposition, politicians.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Indeed.
The stakeholders.
Mr. Mubanguzi.
And August House. I'm called Superintendent of Police, Innocent Mbanjizi. I'm the DPC Kira Central Division, that is Jinja City.
Indeed.
Thank you. I am going to present briefly in specificity and the role of police in general. The role of police in general is very well articulated in Article 212 of the Constitution.
Indeed.
The Constitution is for all Ugandans. Look for it and read that one. When we come to elections, we go for specific roles that the Electoral Commission guides us and that we uphold while the elections are going on. I want to be very, very specific. There is no overdose in security deployment. We should even be very happy when you see, because it is for us, they are protecting us. The worry is if we under-deploy. You said that the voters see army and it reminds them of the war.
Yeah.
But I am wondering, 98% of voters have even never seen neighbors fighting. How can they fear war that they didn't see? Because 98% are below 86. So that is very ridiculous.
So when my grandparents are running away, they'll tell me, you know what, when we see this army, we are reminded. So they tell even the young people, stay home.
Actually, those are very friendly to the army and the police because they know where they have brought, the army has brought them from.
So the issue here, DPC, is the selective application of the law.
I am coming to it. Two, I want to assure you that police and the security forces do not interfere with the electoral processes. We only intervene where there is need. Where there is need is where we intervene. But because
break down those circumstances where
Ugandans
you may have to pitch in.
Like if the process is going on very well, you'll never see a police officer. But where there is kavuyo, where those thugs come, they want to carry away the box.
Yes.
They want to intimidate people. That's when we come in.
Oh yeah.
We are not interfering, we are intervening. But because Ugandans have become more confrontational,
oh, really?
As somebody put it in social media, it becomes a confrontation kind of thing. Then two, police being partisan. I am always talking, the bitter truth of the matter is, even if you have individual sentiments about politics, the police work is very well stipulated in the laws. You get me? What we are not, who we don't want to align with is that the police is serving in the era of NRM. That is what you do not want to understand. I don't want to add more to that. But
You have time, so kind of elaborate.
no, but I mean, that is it. It cannot be partisan because our roles are very clear. But in which era are we serving in now?
NRM regime.
So now what is that?
So you have to serve the party.
405.
Okay.
405. Every stakeholder has their specific roles to play in this process. You as a voter, are you doing your role? Electoral Commission, are you doing your role? Candidates, are you doing your roles? If we do not do our roles, that's when we shall keep finger pointing. We need a holistic approach to these electoral reforms rather than finger pointing. Security wakora chino, gwe wakora chino, for you did you do the right thing? Lastly, not lastly, we need a balanced media coverage and representation of facts. So my recommendation is we need a mindset change and attitude change rather than just mere talking about electoral reforms. If I be specific on some things, they talked about like blocking some politicians
From accessing state-owned
Yes, there's
media.
what they call a travaillas. A travaillas is acting outside the law. You cannot be a travaillas and you expect law to hold you with the gloves. No. If you are seeking equity, you should come with clean hands. If they say the bridge only allows cars, you bring a fleet of motorcycles, they will block you. That's the law. Uganda is governed by laws.
What about accessing a radio? I understand the bridge part, but then what about accessing a radio station?
The radio stations, 90% or more, are owned by private individuals. We cannot program
State-owned.
your stations.
State-owned. Let's focus on the state-owned.
State-owned. How many do we have state-owned? They them go to private-owned. But besides that,
So the state-owned can only accommodate
I said
leaders in power.
I do not program programs of stations. But as I know, if they bring a political forum, they bring all candidates from different. So why would they be discussing when RM is alone? Is that a discussion?
During campaigns, it's possible for you to appear alone because you're selling your
I
manifesto.
have not seen that. Then we have what they call orders from above. Let me tell you, orders, all orders, whether from below or above or aside, they must be lawful orders. They must be what?
Lawful orders.
Two, you who is receiving it, you must put in your personal initiative because you're trained and you have your brain, so you must use your personal initiative in handling orders from above. And lastly, you must be accountable because you are the action officer. You must be accountable to those orders from above. For that matter, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to
Before you go, she talked about bewitching security officers because she was frustrated. The violence meted out against opposition politicians.
Fortunately or unfortunately, that is even threatening violence.
Are we going to
But as people in uniform, we also serve a living God. The God in us is bigger than the witches he's going to send. We shall prevail.
DPC, is it possible for police to strike a harmonious working relationship with opposition politicians? Is it possible?
The harmonious working relationship is not about police alone. It is about striking a balance. If I tell you, don't go there, use here, and we meet there, you say, me, I'm going to use here. Then as police, I say, I am also not going to go. So what will happen? So is that about police striking a balance, or the balance should be between us, the two parties?
So that is discipline.
No, I mean, we should strike a balance, not police, but even the other stakeholders. whom we are interfacing. So that's the balance we mean. It is not about saying, I want to pass Itawan. Then we risk people's lives, we risk people's property, we risk so many things. Mr. Speaker, I said we need a holistic approach to this issue rather than finger pointing.
Indeed.
I thank you so much.
All right, very, very vibrant crowd. Let's get one last submission from the Uganda National NGO Forum, who have been at the forefront of agitations for the push on electoral reforms and constitutional reforms. So Moses,
thank
one last submission.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to return and just make a remark. I'll keep it very brief. Elections is not the day we vote. It's not when we tick. Like you said, the process has been on. It's running. The train already left the station long time ago. If you wait to come in February, so sorry you're late. But now here, the People's Parliament, and now this is why I go to NTV. The People's Parliament is a great contribution to this electoral process. And so we want to applaud NTV. Can we clap for them as well? We want to applaud NTV and generally the Nation Media Group for being able to bring the People's Parliament to us, the people of Ginger, to you, the people of Ginger, to talk. And as the Uganda National NGO Forum, we want to say that we are very much interested in supporting processes and conversations like this, where first people can talk to each other, like we have done. Joy of Fabio has explained to you. We've facilitated these conversations. We are still interested in having duty bearers talking to each other. I'm sure the RCC, we've had a series of district stakeholder engagements or leader engagements where the duty bearers meet and say, and we will continue to do this even in the coming period, towards the election, even with much more intensity. Because when you take feedback from forums like this, we should be able to see how to improve, because it serves the better good of everyone. So who have I forgotten to thank? Fabio, we want to thank you so much, Fabio, the first African Bicycle Information Organization, for being able to convene everyone. It's a tough period to be here, but I want to thank you so much. So with that, I want to say that let's not give up on this project and country called Uganda. It's our motherland. We don't have, if some of you have citizenship elsewhere, for the biggest majority of the people that are participating in this parliament, this is our only country. So we must invest, everyone, with all the commitment to ensure that we have the best that we can. And this People's Parliament, if NTV agrees, we will continue. I think the people of Ginger love it.
Yes,
they love the idea, and we will always be here whenever you want us. I want to thank you for God and my country.
And of course, that is a wrap for NTV People's Parliament in the Busoga Region. It's been a good run. My name is Romeo Busoga. I've been your humble speaker for this session.